All right, so we're about a third of the way through the session, and we're just basically talking about different ways of interacting with the dog. And Logan, I picked up one of his toys. Logan, up, come here, buddy, up. You can get it. Come on, up, up. There we go. So I picked this up, and I was kind of going like this in front of him, and he got a little bit stiff. And I asked the guardian if she knows what his signs are to look for, and she knows that his tail going up is an indicator. Dogs usually have a lot of subtle ways of communicating that they're not comfortable. Now, their eye pupils dilating often means they're excited or potentially in a different direction, but a lot of times it means excitement. Now, excitement can lead to other things as well. Most people confuse excited for happy when it comes to dogs, but a dog can be happy and calm, it can be excited and not happy. Now, him being a terrier, he has more, terriers' ears are usually a lot smaller. He has, sit, good soft mouth. Now, he has kind of lab-looking ears. If the ears are forward, that's more confident. It could also be assertive. It could be a little bit dominant. By itself, I wouldn't look at the ears and say, well, he's about to bite. I look for a combination of things. One of the first warning signs dogs usually get is they stare. It's kind of like they're just kind of hanging on. They're just like, and they get stiff. So when they stare with a lowered head and a little bit to the side, that's a big warning, and that's usually the first one. Most of us don't recognize until the dog is air biting or nipping or growling. That's several steps in. Being able, just like us, if we can get two people in an argument and you get them right when they start the argument, say, guys, I want to talk politics, they can let it go. If they've been talking politics for a couple minutes, you come in and ask them to stop, they can't let it go right. They have to get the last word in. So for dogs, they're going to respond much more quickly if we can get to them sooner rather than later. And knowing what the signs are, which is what this video is about, will help. So if you see your dog suddenly, is nice and casual, all of a sudden stops and freezes, is staring, the ears rotate forward, the hackles, which is the hair between the hips and the shoulders, standing up, particularly here and here, that's an involuntary reflex. The dog's trying to make itself look bigger. A lot of times they start licking their lips. That can be a sign of stress as well. Or they'll bare their lips to show their teeth. They're kind of giving you a warning. A growl is pretty obvious, and a growl, point of fact, is not a case of aggression or a communication. It's the opposite of it. It's saying, I'm not comfortable with what you're doing. I'm giving you a warning. You never want to correct your dog for growling because it says, that's fine. I'll just go straight to a bite next time. We don't want to do that. Now, dogs typically, when they bite to correct or nip, and he's a good example of this, from my notes, I wrote down that he's nipped about 20 times approximately. He's only drawn blood once. So that we don't want our dog to nip that many times, but the fact that he's nipping 19 times in a row without drawing blood, dogs are very precise with their mouths. So that means that he's not intentionally taking too far and he's not a bad case. Other dogs would draw blood 19 or 20 times in a row. That's more consistent. Not necessarily they can do one or the other, but if a dog consistently doesn't draw blood, it usually won't. It doesn't want to draw blood. That tells me he's not an aggressive dog. He's probably just a little bit confused as to what his position is. So other signs to look for is the tail. If it goes straight up, which you've indicated, Guardian's identified is a warning sign. Now by itself, it could just mean I'm alerting. Ideally, what you like to see is if this is the dog's spine, the head is here, and this is the butt, you'd like to see the tail kind of wagging parallel with the spine. That's nice and calm and balanced. If you see it phallically going up between the legs, that's an insecure. You should never pet your dog when it's doing that. And make sure your dog has some space. Now, if you see your dog kind of starts getting stiff or holds its breath or breathes really heavy, or is lowering and looking for the side, especially if you see a lot of white in the eye, we call that whale eye. If you see your dogs doing these things, if you can increase the distance between your dog and whatever is new to the scenario, a lot of times you can head these problems off before they occur. If your dog sees that you're interceding and structuring the situation in a way that makes the dog feel comfortable, then he sees, well, the human has got the leadership role taken care of. I don't have to handle this myself. My human has this under control. So knowing what to look for and then being able to redirect your dog's attention, I'm going to show the Guardian focus exercise here off camera, goes a long ways to stopping the dog before it can get to that threshold where it does feel threatened or needs to nip or bite or correct to protect its human. So these are some of the warning signs you can look for when you have a dog that is reactive to humans or dogs.